Hello, so we're now on to video 3, where we have set up our tournament on forensicsterm.net. We've talked about setting the students and judges contact information so we can get the postings and ballots to them. In this video, I'm going to show you about ePostings and how it all works. And so we'll jump back to our tournament. Now, again, sort of the general idea of the website is you would kind of go left to right. And so you do all of the setup needed for the tournament. We've already done what's required. One of the really nice things about online tournaments is you don't have to worry about rooms anymore, right? You get to skip that step. We've done the contact verification information that we need to. We're confident that we can send out the postings to the students. We've double checked entries, and now it's time to pair. So again, left to right, and then at this point in the tournament, you kind of don't really need these. You just go to pair section. So we'll go ahead and pair section, pattern A, round 1. So we go ahead and pick the schedule block that we're going to pair. Again, for this test tournament, this tutorial, just have 1 event, 2 divisions, pretty straightforward. You can double check that all the settings are correct. We're going to use the step strategy. The number of sections will be automatic, 1 judge per section. It's round 1 that we're pairing. We want a max of 6 speakers per round. And then same thing for over here. I went ahead and registered some test students for the tournament, so there's enough to actually host the tournament for this tutorial in between making the videos. Everything looks right. We'll go ahead and click pair section. All right, we see that the events have been paired and sectioned, open informative, and the judges were assigned for novice and open informative. You'll note that there's no rooms assigned success box because no rooms were assigned for these events. Instead, the way that the online tournaments work is that the online video conferences are created as needed. And so, again, the process is designed to be as similar as possible to a traditional face-to-face tournament. And so just like normally where we would go print the postings to PDF, go tape them on the wall, you go under pair section, postings, and then you would pick the schedule block that you want to do the postings for. So we want A round 1. What events do you want? You can either click them or click all. And then you don't have to worry about any of these options over here. The e-postings are set up for you with the information that's required. It's a little bit different because they're not being publicly posted on a wall at the tournament. We're just sending it directly to the students by text or email. And so whereas before we would click this PDF button, create a PDF of the postings, print them out, go to the wall and tape them on. Now all you have to do is click text and email. When I click this button, you'll see here that it sent a copy of the e-postings to the competitors and it sent a copy of the e-postings to the coaches. And that's all you got to do. And now the students will have received a copy of their postings via email if their posting preference is set to email, or text if their posting preferences is set to text or cell phone. Again, if they're set to paper, they won't receive anything. So that's sort of the danger, red flag. And if hopefully everything's been verified, so you know you can communicate with them. But it's been pretty successful for the tournaments. So I have an example of an email that was sent for this tournament. So we have the 2020 online test tournament novice informative e-posting. And so it says, hello, student's name. It tells them their code. So they have a copy of it right there. It says which round this is for, round 1, 9 a.m., novice informative. Tells the student what speaker they are. And then this button for the live video room is a link directly to where they will perform. Like I mentioned, I'll click on that in a minute. Like I mentioned, if you set that help room under the tournament settings, it will include it in the email that gets sent for the postings. So you see here it says need help. Click on this link and it will take you to an 8x8 video room called Online Test Help, which is what I set before. And hopefully you have some tournament staff in there who can quickly help this student if they need assistance. And so if I go ahead and click on this live video room button, it takes me to this video conference room. You'll notice it's 8x8.bc/ and then this random string of numbers and letters. Turn my camera off so it's not too weird. So it's 8x8.bc/ And there's 32 characters here, which is a combination of random numbers and letters. That's done on purpose to try to protect against Zoom bombing, right? And so rather than something like 8x8.vc/online test tournament round 1 novice informative section 1, which people could then guess and interfere with the tournament, we found that this makes it nearly impossible for somebody to Zoom bomb or interfere with the round. The only way that could potentially happen is if somebody shares that with somebody who then goes on and does that, which isn't something that we can really stop. But for the most part, we found it to be a very successful method to ensure that only judges and students enter the room. And so as I mentioned briefly in the previous video, the neat way that 8x8 video conferencing software works is anything that you type in after this slash becomes your room name. And so, you can type Danny's practice room, and then all my students can meet me in 8x8.vc/Danny's practice room. The really nice features of this is it doesn't require an account. It doesn't require any software to be downloaded, right? As long as you're on a computer and you have a browser, we found, all the browsers work, Chrome, Firefox, Safari. As you click on that URL, you're in the conference room with your judge and students. You go ahead and click Join Meeting. And then again, just like most video conference software, there's only me in this room as of right now, of course. But if you had your other students and judges, they would all show up under different boxes. And we'll have tutorials on how to effectively use 8x8 both for students and judges. But in general, all the options that are in Zoom and Google Meets are available. You can share your screen. You can raise your hand to try to get your judge's attention. There's a chat window where you can type information here. This is how we had judges share impromptu topics with their students. They just copied them from the ballot, pasted them in here, and that way the student got them. You can mute your microphone, hang up, leave the room, mute your video. Here you can change it from tile view, where everybody be on the screen, to just a single speaker. And so we found for judges, it's usually best to do a single speaker. That way you can give your full attention to who's performing. You can quickly invite people to the room if you need to. You can secure the room with a passcode, although that's not really something we've done so far at tournaments. And then there's a few other options here that we'll, again, go over in another video. So that's all the student needs to do to get to their quote-unquote competition room, which is just this video conference room provided by 8x8 video conferencing. Once they click on this link, they'll join their other competitors. Their judge will then click on their link on their ballot, and they'll be where they need to go. Again, some of the nice features is this room name is different for every section, every round. And so another protection against Zoom bombing is that this particular room name is only used for this particular section of this round. And so for round 2 of Novice Informative will be a completely different room name. And that's sort of a really nice feature. All right, so again, this is what the email will look like. The text is very similar as well. It will say hello to the student. It will give them a link that they can click on, and then that will help them get to their room. If the student is on a mobile device, they can download the 8x8 app on their phone. There's both an Apple and Android version of the app. Although we just recently, I believe in the last 2 or 3 weeks in the middle of summer, 8x8 added a way to use your mobile browser, just like a laptop browser or computer browser like I showed you, to get into the video conference room. So I believe you don't even need to download an app anymore if you're on mobile. You can use a mobile browser. It might work better with the app, but it makes it even less pain, less friction point. Again, the benefits of 8x8, the students do not need to create an account ahead of time. The students do not need to download any software onto their computer. It works as long as they have a browser, so it's PC, Mac, Chromebook, any type of computer that can have a browser on the internet. And there's no passwords they have to know, no accounts they have to remember. They just click the link, they're in their room. They share their performances, they're finished, they leave the room. That room will never be used again. They'll get a new email with a new link for their next round. All right, that's as easy as it is. Again, you just go under postings, and then instead of sending it to PDF, you send it to text or email. Thanks.